Welcome to another episode of the Liberty Mastermind podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ox, along with my good buddies, Pat Leo and Captain Jack. And today we have a very special guest, a friend of the show, Jessica Mills, better known as Dixie. Dixie got a degree in biosystems engineering and a minor in agronomy and soils from Auburn, and began a career at NRCS as an ag engineer. And after a few years of that, she was presented with an opportunity to work with Halliburton in Colorado. And only after about a year and a half of being what she calls a prisoner in a big corporation, she decided to reboot and hike the Appalachian Trail, which is over a 2,000-mile hike, well over a 2,000-mile hike, in over a half a year of hiking. But guess what? She didn't stop there, folks. She is now finishing up hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, which is also an over 2,000-mile hike in over 6 months. And she's right now well on her way to what they call a triple crown of hiking, which is the big three in North America. So today we're going to be discussing following your heart, being a female while hiking, the psychological changes that occurred during her hikes, and her mantra for not quitting. It's going to be a good one, folks. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to tug at your heart. Sit back, enjoy, and let's get rolling. Welcome to the show. Tell us what's a trail name and where did you get yours?
Okay, so Jessica Mills is my civilian name or slave name or whatever you prefer. But Dixie is my trail name or my earned name, if you will. So in the trail community, which is its own thing for sure, but it's common for people to get a nickname which might reflect something about them or something stupid they did, so you have to be very careful at the beginning of a long distance hike not to do anything silly or you might get stuck with it for the rest of your life. But anyway, so Dixie is because I'm from Alabama, the South. So these fellows that I was hiking with for a while, they couldn't remember what my real name was, and you know how it is, you meet somebody and you feel like you should remember their name, but you're like, I don't want to ask again, So after a few days, they were finally like, what's your name? Because when you're not around, we just call you that girl from Dixie, and then that just kind of stuck, So Dixie is what my name is on the trail, so yeah. Awesome. That's who I am, You're born with one name and then you become your trail name, so.
And it's certainly stuck. And
yeah.
You're currently hiking the PCT, and there are fires going on kind of up in Oregon and Washington. Have you seen Smokey the Bear out on the trail?
No, I think he got really sad and depressed and ran away because this year has not been the year for through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail for sure. So in the Sierra Nevada, we had ridiculous amounts of snowpack, record, breaking snowpack, and then we were all told we were all going to die there, and then we get through there, and then now Oregon greets us with fires, and I'm like, oh, if I could just get through Oregon, which actually yesterday was my last day in Oregon, and now I'm heading into Washington, but now there are fires in Washington too, so it's just man, we just can't win this year, but yeah, most of the days in Oregon were very smoke-filled, but I've learned that my lungs and my eyes and my throat can handle a lot more smoke than I thought. That's good. You got to test the limits,
Oh my God, I've seen some of your photos on Instagram. It looks pretty. It's pretty rowdy up there. Now, how much farther do you have to go to finish?
It's a little over 500 miles left in Washington, but some of that is closed due to the fire. So I'm really hoping to be done the first week of October.
Okay.
I'm trying to beat the snow to Canada, basically.
Okay. Wow, first week of October. That's in a month from when we're recording this. Now, remind me, the entire length of the PCT is like 20, what did you say?
2,650 to the northern terminus, the monument. But then if you continue into Canada and Manning Park, you've got another 8 to 2,658. And I know it's like, okay, 8 miles isn't that big of a deal, but it is. It is.
Oh, are you going to be able to do that?
2,650.
Are you going to?
I think so. I think I'll.
Wow.
I think I will. Yeah. No. I'm definitely walking into Canada. I've got my passport ready, and
oh wow.
I've never really been to another country, so this is I'm going to walk into one for the first one. That's kind of cool.
You've been to Texas. That counts as a different country.
Yeah, it does. The Republic.
Now, you're taking I think you called it a 0 day from the trail. Did you go get a mani-pedi?
I think they would turn me away if I tried to even pay somebody to touch my feet. I think they would run away. So they would ask the police to take me out of there. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Man, you need to go somewhere else. So what?
Yeah, and a 0 day is like just essentially what it sounds like 0 miles. So it's a day where you do no miles and you just do. I mean, they say that, but then when you're in town and you don't have a car, of course you get the laundromat a half a mile one way and then 2 the mile the other way. So you do end up walking. It's just not positive trail miles. So.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, let's. So we're going to talk about hiking and whatever other fun stuff comes up, but let's go back to a handful of years ago, and you did the typical American thing. You went to undergrad. You went to Auburn, then you got a big girl job. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I did. I did what society plans for everyone to do, and graduate with a over 4.0 GPA, and then go to college and chase that rabbit down the hole. But anyhow, so I graduated in biosystems engineering from Auburn University with a minor in agronomy and salt, and then I started working with the Department of Agriculture for a while, and I really did enjoy that job. It was spent helping people most of the time try and help farmers be more, I guess, environmentally friendly or solve problems that they had on their land. And so I really did enjoy that part of it. But one of the things that kind of got to me was, how can I when I was at work, I'm like, wow, I'm getting paid like people's tax dollars right now. Am I doing a good enough job? Am I, and then you see people sometimes that you work with that are definitely milking it, and you're just like, I can't do this, can't be a part of it. So, even though I loved it, I decided to move on to something, else and wasn't necessarily better, but, then I started working for Halliburton out in Colorado, but I mean, they lured me in with the mountains of Colorado, right? So, I started working with them for a while and realized that just wasn't my thing either. And that really, I don't know that I'm necessarily meant to work for somebody else, but it is what it is. So my student loan payment says otherwise, right? But so anyhow, I started working with them and just wasn't loving that job either, and decided that some way I needed to get out. I woke up and I'm like, I'm 28 at the time, and I'm playing house with my 2 dogs, and I did everything that people say you should do to be happy, but why am I not happy? So that's kind of the point that I had. You
were with a group of people in a restaurant. I think it was a working night or a working dinner time, and you met someone. It was a guy, and there was this like seemingly minor evening out with people, and you weren't really tuned in, but it was a very pivotal moment. Take us back to that pivotal moment.
Yeah. So I swear, whether you believe that everything happens for a reason or not, thing. Sometimes it's just like kind of in your face. So this night, this particular coworker who was like claiming credit for my work and yada yada, all the stuff that goes on in the workplace, whatever. He had asked me to go out to this happy hour thing, and I was just like, I really don't want to go, but I thought, oh well, I'm going to, so I go, and free appetizers, drinks, whatever, all the same, normal, with clients, how it goes, whining and dining, whatever. And so anyway, I'm just sitting there, and this guy sits down at the end of the table, and he's like, hey, every seat in the house is taken. Do you mind if I sit here? Y'all have seats at the table. And we're like, no, sure, go ahead. And so clearly he wasn't from there. You could just kind of pick up on that. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, you're here from out of town or what? And he said, yeah, I'm here interviewing. I'm an artisan baker, and I'm interviewing here in Denver and in Seattle and a couple other places. And I'm just trying to, figure out where I want to work and like what people like about the area. So what do you like about this area? And I said, well, I like going hiking and stuff like that. I do day hikes up in the Rockies, but I don't know if you're interested in hiking and stuff. And he said, oh yeah, for sure. Have you ever heard of the Appalachian Trail? And I was just like, yes, I've only dreamed of doing it since I was like 5 years old. I have a map of it in my office right now. And he was like, well, yeah, I did it last year. And I said, you did what part? He said, all of it. And I was just like, oh my God. Like I knew then. I mean, it was just like something hit me upside the head and was like, I'm searching for something in my life that, will make me happier. And it just hit me like, I'm about to hike the Appalachian Trail. I went home that night after talking to him for a couple hours about the AT.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm about to hike the Appalachian Trail. And I just knew it. And that's how that happened. So.
If you didn't meet, this sort of, I don't know, guardian angel or whatever, if you didn't meet him, do you think something else would have happened that also spurred? Because it sounds like you were already sort of primed, and this just, kind of put you over the edge. You think something else would have happened that kind of made you go?
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, I know that I was searching for something. So, it was just like I said, I wasn't happy with where I was in life, even though, it's like 1 + 2 = 3 and you'll be happy, and I did all that and I wasn't. So, I mean, I think I was, I don't know, I was looking out, you know what I mean? So whether it would have been something else or some other opportunity, but I'm really glad of the way that it went. So.
And you hiked the Appalachian Trail, the AT, last year in 2016. Tell us how. 2015. Oh, 2015.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the length of the trail? It's
2,189.2 miles that year. Kind of changed. It matters. The 0.2 matters. Yeah, it changes a little bit each year. Just reroute or things like that. But yeah, the year that I did it, 2,189.2. So a little bit shorter than this one that I'm on now, but.
And you documented your time. You hiked the entire length of it. You wrote a book about how to prep for it. Now, on that first day on the AT, all 2,189.2 miles of it, how many overnight camping trips had you done that first day you stepped foot on the AT? Zero.
I had never been on an overnight backpacking trip before the Appalachian Trail. Actually, that was my first backpacking trip, and now Pacific Crest Trail is actually my second backpacking trip.
Holy cow! Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta jump sometimes, and then just see what happens. So, yeah, it was pretty intimidating that first night at camp. I'm looking around at people around me who seemed, maybe a little nervous too, but certainly more confident than I was. And I had never even used my stove before. I mean, I had to. I'm an engineer, right? So I had an idea of how it worked, obviously, but I had never used it, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what am I? And I remember laying there that first night and just thinking, what the hell have I gotten myself into? What am I doing with? Why? How did I get here? And that quickly went away. But it's just it's scary. The first step is the hardest. So.
I was going to say, that makes me think, at what point, or at what point did you stop thinking, man, I've got 2,000 whatever miles to go, and however many months that is? At what point did you stop thinking about that and think, okay, I just need to make it to tomorrow, make it to the weekend or something like that? Did you break it down like that mentally?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat. So, I guess the best thing I can compare it to is like anyone who did go to college, like you have 4 years ahead of you, right? So you're just like, wow, I'm going to be in school forever. And, but you don't really think of it like that. Like every now and then you're like, oh man, wow, I'm actually halfway. It suddenly like hits you, and then, oh man, I'll graduate next year, So it's kind of that, at the beginning it's just this big daunting task and you're like, oh, here I go, But yeah, while you're in it, it's just kind of, day to day. And that's the thing about it is, I mean, every day if you search for it, there's something rewarding, you know what I mean? But some challenge that you overcome. But it's hard sometimes to, think of, well, I just took a little chunk off the big, challenge. So, but it's not always, it teaches you, the whole instant gratification thing kind of goes out the window. You have to stay on this path. And I mean, you get little rewards along the way, beautiful views, or you break your record time for a mile or, something like that. But sometimes you have to train your mind to, reward yourself for these little victories,
It's funny. We were talking before the interview started, and it makes me think. You almost need to write a behavior or a psychology book, like all these. This amazing opportunity to reflect on yourself and how your own thinking works, and I don't know, I feel like you should write the Dixie, through hiking psychology book or something like that. I mean, so many interesting changes. Now,
yeah, I mean, there really are. I mean, your mind is a very noisy place. Right. When you don't have Facebook or a phone call or a text or anything, music, to distract yourself and to not think about, to keep the thoughts out of your mind that you don't want to have. But when you're alone in the woods with your brain, all the stuff that you don't want to think about surfaces first. You're going to look through that stuff first.
Did you find on the PCT, on the current trail you're on, was it a little easier to let that monkey mind or whatever? Did you find it easier, with the chatter in the mind and whatever this time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think my mind worked through a lot of stuff on the AT, I kind of came to terms with, and I mean, it's not like anything horrible necessarily, but, we all have the things that kind of hurt to think about, and so you tend to go through them. And so I think, my mind is a lot quieter on the PCT, or I find myself thinking about, so this is so silly, but the other day I found this frog, and he had, and I videoed this, but he had an ant biting his foot on the back and on the front, and it was a toad. But anyway, so the front leg ant turned loose when I kind of tried to pull him off, and the back leg one would not turn loose of the frog. I mean, he just would not turn loose, and I kept trying to get him off, and finally, I mean, I don't love to kill things unless I'm going to eat them, and still I don't love to kill, stuff like that, but I do not personally like to kill something unless I'm going to eat it. But anyhow, I ended up having to mash this ant body off of his head. I had to kill him to make him stop, and then he, even in death, his little pincers were still biting. But anyway, then, as I'm walking some miles later that day, I'm thinking, why did I choose the ant? Why did I side with the frog? You know what I mean? What if the frog had been attacking me? And so in my mind, I'm thinking about little dumb stuff like that instead of, whatever else I used to think about. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting there, to kind of think about, I don't know,
it's very
things like that. So.
Zen Buddhism reflection or something like that.
Right? It's kind of crazy. But, so I think it's a different level. I don't know.
Well, one of the things that I think is interesting that I'm sure you get asked this daily, if weekly, if not daily, isn't it dangerous to hike, being a female? And I know you've hiked in some areas by yourself. So, if you had $1 for every time someone asked you that, I'm sure you'd have like $27,000 right now. But tell us about being a female and not only just being a female, but like sometimes hiking by yourself. Is it really dangerous and scary?
No, I mean, okay, so this is hard because sure, if you look at the physical abilities of men and women, yes, you have some women that could be in the NFL maybe or whatever, but like most women are at a physical disadvantage to men, right? So yeah, you have that. But that's true on the trail. That's true at the mall. That's true, at work. I mean, that's true anywhere. And so it doesn't change just because you're out on the trail. And then if you look at the statistics of, for example, the Appalachian Trail, it's 2,189 miles long, and if you assume a width of, 5 feet on the trail. So if you take that area, like the actual square miles, I don't remember what it is, but and you put that in an area of the U.S. that I think they say 3 to 4 million people touch the Appalachian Trail every year. So if you put it in a place like that, populated with people or that people touch, then you have way more crime than what you see on the Appalachian Trail, in general. And so it's really not an unsafe place to be because, in my mind, a criminal wants to, make it easy. So why do they want to go out hiking? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To find somebody and hurt them. And even though, not saying that they won't, because there have been, I think, 11 murders on the Appalachian Trail since 1970 or something like that. So, yeah, it sounds like a lot, right? And not to make light of those 11 deaths, but 11 in 40-something years, where you have that many people in 1 year, you only have 11 deaths over 40-something years, so 11 murders. But relatively, a safe place to be. And you have people around you, even if you're a solo hiker. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Even if you're going alone initially, unless you choose to just stay alone and avoid people, you're going to be camping around other people. There are people out there, and everyone kind of bonds and looks out for one another. So, you can, especially hitchhiking. Hitchhiking is a huge part of the trail. You can try to pair up with people, and if you can't, then just be smart. Trust your gut is the main thing that I've really trusted, just listen to your gut. So if somebody pulls up to give you a ride, you don't have to get in. You can say, oh, crap, you know what, I left my trekking poles a mile back. Thank you, but I have to go get them. Or, you know what, I forgot. My friend, I was supposed to be waiting on him, so thank you, but I'm good. I've got to, whatever. So, just already have those reasons in mind. These are things you have to think about ahead of time so that if that instance does occur, you know how to handle it. But, I carried on the AT, I carried pepper spray and a knife. And on this trail, I've got a neck mask that's real easy to draw. And I practice, as I'm going down the trail, I'm let me practice pulling this out. So, if I had to, it's just instinct for me. It's not something that, I'm fumbling for, But, so it's something that it's a real thing to think about, but it's just not really, I don't feel unsafe at all.
Well, you mentioned the instinct thing. Do you feel like you've gotten, I don't know, more attuned to others or sharper instinct as you've gone along from the AT to the PCT? Do you think that's getting sharper?
Yeah, I would say yes, because you are constantly playing this game, like I said, especially with hitchhiking, just paying attention, to your surroundings and especially if you do travel alone a lot. I think that's something important, just looking at people, just thinking about the situation around you and just being aware, situational awareness is one of the best things to keep yourself safe. So, and that's not be paranoid, because that's not what it is at all. It's just pay attention to what's going on around you.
Well, I remember on my emergency medicine rotation, it was a 6-week rotation. I got in that first week, and those first handful of shifts. I remember a couple times where I got hosed by some patients. They were, I think they were feigning illness. They were totally hosing me to try to get something, and I was bummed about that I didn't pick up on it. But fast forward, fast forward to week 5 or 6 or whatever of the rotation, and like I feel like my sixth sense to pick up on the BS was heightened. So that just kind of came through experience and whatnot. Now, so I'm sure that's one of the whole being a female and is it safe on the trail or whatever. I'm sure that's a pretty common thing that you get asked. But one of the things that really stood out from hearing your story was this concept of trail magic. Like I had never heard that before until you shared your story. So tell us, what the heck is trail magic, and what's a real memorable story, maybe from the PCT, the one you're currently hiking?
Okay, so trail magic is basically when these fairies appear in the woods. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
They probably feel like fairies, like legit,
No, they do. They do. You're just like an angel. So we call people who do random acts of kindness for people along the trail. Like I said, it's definitely its own community. We call them trail angels, and these trail angels provide trail magic for the through hikers, or section hikers if they're coming through at the same time. But so basically, it's just an any act of kindness. So it can be anything from leaving a cooler at like a trailhead with especially things that you can't get on the trail. So like fresh fruit, sometimes they'll leave beer or Coke or things like that. And then you have all the way up to people who offer you a place to stay at their house, and cook you dinner while you're there. So, I had that happen on the Appalachian Trail twice while I was hitchhiking. These people pulled over and just were like, hey, do you have a place to stay tonight? Would you like to do laundry? Would you like to? And you can tell when they know what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's not, I know it sounds absolutely crazy. And my mom, it was so funny when I told her that I was staying at somebody's house randomly.
Oh my God, your poor mom.
She just like freaks out. She's like, wait, do you know these people? And I'm like, no, Mom, but it's okay. I was like, Camel and Rigga are here because, of course, those are two of the other hikers. And she's like, but do you even know them? And I'm like, oh, well, no, you have a point. And in regular years, no, I've known them like, 2 weeks, but that feels like 2 years on the trail. So it's okay, Mom. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, here, there hasn't been like as much trail magic, but there are certainly, I wouldn't say the quality is less. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may be even more. So out here, there have been a lot more people that have offered their homes to stay in and things like that. So yeah, so there are some towns where they know that lodging is so expensive that they will leave their name on a list, like at the general store or at an outfitter, and they'll just say, we offer rides, or we offer lodging, or we can put up this many people. And just the other day, because right now I'm hiking with a guy that I became friends with on the AT, and a girl and her dog, and the three of us and the dog. And just in the last 2 weeks, with all these fire closures and the logistics of trying to get around them and everything, we had one man who came and picked us up off this middle of the nowhere dirt road, took us to the Crater Lake Lodge and put us up for the night. He paid for a room. We didn't even know. And then bought us dinner. We were just like, what? Yeah. And this is somebody, he does like section hikes, but he's never done the PCT, and so it just blows my mind, because a lot of trail angels are pass-through hikers that receive trail magic, so they pay it forward and do it for other people. And last year in 2016, I did trail magic with people that I had met on the Appalachian Trail. We paid it forward for some of that year's through hikers. But for people who have never been a through hiker, it blows my mind that these people in these communities still just support the fact that somebody is, I guess, brave enough to run out and chase their dreams So they want to support however they can, and they'll just randomly do things like that. It's just it's crazy. It blows my mind.
It blew my mind when I heard you describe it the first time, that, this sort of selflessness, this beauty of
it
humanity.
kind of,
Like, whoa. It kind of want to go like,
not to sound cliche, but like restores your faith in humanity almost. You know what I mean? Like, literally. It just makes you see that there are actually some really kind people out there who want to do things for other people just out of the goodness of their hearts. But that's not possible, right? I mean, that could never exist.
Right. Well, we just saw it with Harvey, in Hurricane Harvey in Texas, and now Irma's, as of when we're recording this, barreling down on Florida right now, somewhere around Tampa. Yeah. And, we heard plenty of stories of, I don't think it would qualify as trail magic, but people piling in their boats and heading to Houston and bringing food and water, gasoline. Some people from the crowd that we run with, the TSP crowd, people going on there to help and not wanting anything in return. It's beautiful.
Just out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah, and it's not like the government came and said, "Okay, we need 10 people, we are going to select 10 or 100 people to go down here and do this." Or, we need to take such and such percent of everyone's checks for the next 2 weeks to cover the things that happen. People just naturally go help people.
Yeah.
It's human nature, and there are good people in this world. Yes, there's a lot of bad, but if you look, there are good people doing good things for other people just because.
So it's
crazy.
I love those stories, hearing those trail magic stories. Speaking of beautiful, you stopped, I think you said you stopped wearing makeup on the trail, right? Is that right?
Yes.
What was it
Nobody
like?
wants to carry that weight,
Yeah. I know you conserve ounces. What was it like going back to civilization after the AT and seeing people wearing makeup and, anything else stick out?
Yeah, so it was, I was always I've always been an outdoorsy kind of girl, but now if I was going to Walmart, I need to look nice, that's all.
Nice.
So, but I learned, on the AT that I just don't really care about that anymore, and it's amazing the confidence booster that you get from through hiking a trail and then even just spending time in nature, just the, I don't know, it just brings you back to the roots of being a human and seeing what's important, and makeup just isn't one of them. And I'm not bashing it. If people like to wear makeup, that's fine. But it's just that while hiking the AT, I noticed a change in myself. I would go to a bar to get dinner or something, and I would see all these girls all fixed up, and here I am in my stinky hiker clothes, unbathed in a week, and have dirt all over my face. And I'm just sitting there oh man, I feel like such a dirtbag, And then a couple months into it, I was just having just as much fun as everybody else sitting in that place. And I realized, wow, I didn't even have to waste an hour getting ready to come out here tonight. I didn't have to fix my hair. And then I started, when I would bathe, I'd look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, girl, you look pretty good, I was standing at, it's in New York, and it's the lowest point elevation-wise on the Appalachian Trail. It's in a zoo in New York. And so anyway, I'm standing there at the bear cage, and these people come up to me, and I'm talking to them, and it's some women, and I just sat there and I looked at them, and I couldn't even hardly focus on what they were saying because the makeup was on so thick that it looked like the people from the Hunger Games, like the Capitol people, and just painted on, and I was just like, man, it's so weird to me because before I might have gone, wow, I wonder what mascara she uses, and now I was just like, whoa, this doesn't look natural to me anymore, it looked off, and it's so weird how when you get out there and get in tune with your, wild woman self that I don't know, it just felt strange, So I started thinking, I'm like, maybe all these guys that are like, hey, you actually look better without makeup. Maybe y'all are more in touch with your, more in tune with your caveman self or something, and maybe we don't look all that bad without it. So. But, we still enjoy, I still like, to get dolled up so I can go to a wedding or something like that, but yeah, I don't worry about it when I go to Walmart anymore, for sure, so.
That's hilarious. the capital people from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I'm serious.
I can see that in my mind now. We on a previous episode we interviewed Navy SEAL Chris Sinog, and we kind of talked about how mentally he got through their training pipeline, like Hell Week. He mentioned how he talked to himself about like make it to the next break and then quit, like make it to tomorrow, or make it through the next evolution and then quit. And those sort of incremental things got him through the entire training pipeline. Now, you have a really impactful mental strategy about quitting or not quitting. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, when you're, if anybody ever goes and does a through hike, you will see people quit on doing anything in life, really. You just see people quit. And I just started thinking, I'm like, why did these people fall out? Like, what made them quit? And I realized it's really easy to quit on a bad day. So you have a bad day at work, or you have a bad day in a marriage, or you have a bad day on the Appalachian Trail. And it's so easy to say, that's it, I'm out, I'm done. But I decided, quitting isn't all bad. So if you're doing something and you're spending a lot of time in your life, aim towards something that isn't really bringing you joy or bringing you fulfillment. No, that's not bad to quit that and find something that does. However, the rule is, for me, never quit on a bad day. Do not quit on a bad day. So, if it's raining and it's cold and, whatever, then yeah, it's real easy to say I want to go home. But if I'm sitting out on a beautiful outlook and there are birds chirping and, butterflies fluttering around, and I'm like, this sucks, then maybe it's time for me to go home. But otherwise, like, I can't quit. You know what I mean? So, and I think that kind of holds true with anything in life. I've found for myself that, if I really think about it, and on a good day, I'm done with something, fine, but, like, don't quit on a bad day. So.
No, that's really like an awesome, like the first time I heard you say that, it hit me really hard, because I think that's portable to other things. I mean, you said it, like marriage, but like relationships, right? Like, they kind of have their ups and downs, or the challenges, or their moments of glory, or whatever. And to, a reminder to never quit on a bad day. I mean, that was just perfect for relationships, or a job, or, it applies to so many things. Have you had
it really does. It really does.
Have you had that conversation with yourself on the PCT?
Yeah, and I'm so stubborn that, like, I know I want to do this. So, like, I'm not quitting. But, like, I have had the conversation with myself about, even like little things, like, oh, I just want to stop at this mile, I'm done with today, or whatever. And sometimes you need that, but, like, just trying to make myself know. I said I was going to do 25 miles today. I'm doing 25. But really, where that came in on this trail, I actually saw a guy quit that I had been hiking with for a while in the Sierra Nevada, and all of his friends were just, like, devastated that he's leaving. And they were like, Dixie, aren't you upset, that he's going? And I'm like, well, sure. But, my rule is don't quit on a bad day. And when he decided to quit today, it was a beautiful day. He had some of his best friends around him, and he decided, I'm done with this. I want to go home. I've reached fulfillment with this experience, and, I'm ready to move on. And that's fine. And I'm like, I'm at peace with that. If it was raining and we had just had a horrible day and he had fallen down today and whatever, I might try to talk to him about it. You know what I mean? But, like, he's ready. Like, it's a good day, and he's decided he's done it, and it's okay. So, that's really where that came in more on this trail. So, and I never thought that I would see that case out here, but sure enough, it happened. So.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I like that mantra. Never quit on a bad day. Now, you're a young gal. Do you see any, like, older folks or kiddos out on that trail, or the Appalachian Trail? Is it a young person's game?
No, and I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I wish I could do that if I was only younger," and then I'm like, "Oh, well, let me tell you about this. So this on the Appalachian Trail, there's a lady named Bluebird who was 71 or 72 the year that we were through hiking. And speaking about confidence, I talked to her after the trail. Sorry, I'm getting off on a little tangent, but after we finished through hiking, because she finished that year with her 40-year-old daughter. But after we finished that year, I was talking to her on the phone and, catching up and everything. And she was like, Dixie, I just have so much confidence after through hiking the Appalachian Trail. She said, something was going wrong. My railing was coming off on my front porch steps. And she said, I was about to pick up the phone and call somebody to come fix it. And then I thought, well, hell, if I can hike the Appalachian Trail, I can fix the railing on the front porch. And even if I fell out of his hair, then I'll call somebody. And I was just like, oh my goodness, she was just a little sassy thing. So, and then also there was a 10-year-old girl through hiking with her family on the AT, a family of 5 kids, but she was the youngest, and the 2 parents. But anyhow, so yeah, if I had a bad day, and they were ahead, I was like, wow, Bluebird and Sticks was the little girl's name. I'm like, they both did this. What is my excuse? At the time, I'm a 29-year-old woman. I'm like, if a 72-year-old woman can do it, a 10-year-old little girl, like, what is my excuse? So, but yeah, on the AT, the ages were really like 25 and younger and 50 and older was the majority of the people out there. Wow. And then on this trail, this one is really more like level playing field, but there certainly are older people out here and younger people. So it's really just a matter of your drive, and if you've decided you want to do it. And I mean, you can try. What have you got to lose? Some time in the woods. How terrible.
Right. So, and you've pointed out that you don't. A person doesn't necessarily need to hike the entire thing, but you can do what's called section hiking, which is just kind of select a specific segment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's almost more of a beauty in that because, through hike, you are kind of pushed for time more so. But again, like a 72-year-old woman did it in 6 months. So it's not like it's unachievable or anything like that. But, I mean, you do have to pay more attention, and you slowly build up to the miles. But with section hiking, if you decided you wanted to go a half a mile off the trail tonight and camp near this beautiful lake, if you're only doing a week-long trip, you have more time to enjoy the little pieces of it, Mm-hmm. But I met people out there who were like, this is my 20th year and I'm finishing it. Actually, I met a guy on the PCT about a month ago that was the case. He's like, yeah, I've been working at this for about 20 years now and I'm going to get my last section in a couple of days. And I'm just like, man, that is so cool, and to stay at a goal for that long and to complete it. I mean, I almost think that's way more admirable than somebody who's like, yeah, I took 6 months off, So, and just getting out there with nature and like learning, you can learn so much from nature, just getting out there and having time to reflect on yourself and just see the beauty of it, it brings a little peace to your life.
And I can't imagine staying on a goal for 20 years. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And that they have that much like drive to continue, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, crazy. How about we shift gears to our Liberty questions, the questions that we typically ask, all our favorite guests. Do you have a top concern that impacts your liberty or lifestyle? Anything you're concerned about or trying to change maybe?
So, yeah, I certainly try to focus on the things in my life that are within my reach to change. So that's one thing that I realized over time, that my priorities were certainly out of alignment or out of balance. And I was, stressed and more concerned with the bigger things, like, for example, the illusion of freedom. You have choice A and B when it comes to our politics, this side or that side, and really going, like I'm not going to change that issue tomorrow by myself. You know what I mean? So I'm going to set that aside and instead, what can I change immediately in my life? What in my lifestyle can I put those worries and concerns toward and actually see change, and create personal freedom and personal liberty, instead of arguing with my cousin on Facebook, over who's going to be our next master. So,
Master.
so that's kind of what I've decided. Like, what in the things that I do from day to day can I change and positively affect my life? So that's something that I try to do, and maybe that's why I'm wandering off in the woods for months at a time.
You certainly have control over that. So focus on
absolutely.
the things you have influence over.
Yeah.
Well, when life is challenging, one of my favorite speakers, Les Brown, calls them character building days. So when you have those character building days, what do you do to kind of bring about mental relaxation or insight or clarity or relaxation for yourself?
So, I guess I feel kind of like two people. The past couple of years, I've got stable, stay in one spot, Dixie, and then I've got I guess that's Jessica, right? The normal life person, and then I've got Dixie, who's out on these trails and everything. And so for me, in the life back home where I'm not gallivanting in the woods, I really just waking up and drinking coffee and going out in my garden and looking at all the things that have changed, overnight, and just being out in my yard, you know what I mean, and just kind of walking around and looking at things that I'm growing or watering the plants, all that little morning routine with my plants. I love it. That's sacred time, And then out here, it also starts with coffee, so maybe I have an addiction. I've just identified an addiction I have. But out here, it's a lot of people wake up really fast when they hike, and they just wake up and pack their stuff up and eat a bar as they're walking. But me, I'm I like to make my coffee. Yeah, even though it's instant, whatever. I like to make my coffee and just sip it and eat my breakfast and look out. The sun rising. Am I covered in a green tunnel so I can't see the sun? But wow, look how pretty the leaves look. Wiggling around because there's a little breeze. Just kind of taking the time to look around and appreciate the surroundings. So it depends on if I'm Jessica or Dixie at the time, but but those are my two things, and both really tend to do with nature. So there you go. I guess.
So nature.
Just getting out and being in it. Yeah.
Awesome. A mentor once told me start every day happy. And when I first heard that, I was like, oh, come on, give me a better mantra than that. But, it really, I don't know, settled with me. So he told me start every day happy. So what do you do to start your day with, positivity or on the right side of the bed or whatever? It sounds like you just kind of described it. So.
Yeah. Really, I think coffee, and it's so funny. It's not even necessarily the caffeine. I think it's just the act of it. You know what I mean? It's just the little routine of it, and just sitting there and pausing. You know what I mean? I'm taking the time in the morning to pause and just go, okay, today's gonna be a good day. I'm drinking my coffee and looking around at what's going on. That whole little act for me.
It was funny. Pretty recently, I was thinking, because I'm a big coffee guy too. I was thinking to myself, you're a coffee drinker, a coffee even addict, when the night before you're planning out your morning coffee routine, thinking to yourself, okay, it's not going to be that long until I get my cup of coffee. You've got a problem.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and the thing that I look forward to the most about night hiking is that I drink coffee while I'm if I'm doing a really all night thing, I'm oh well, at least I get some coffee now while I'm hiking, Yeah, it's so bad.
Wow.
It's bad.
What you've mentioned a few things that people can do, but do you have what actions can you recommend people take to start improving their self-empowerment, their liberty, and kind of getting after, their heart's calling, so to speak? What can people do?
Well, stop wasting wasting time, first of all. So it's very easy to be like, oh, well, I can't do this right now. I can't start that right now, but like, why not? You know, what can you do then? If you can't have the end result immediately, like what's the step that you could take? Can you start planning? Can you start researching something about this thing? And then just, you know, if you are capable of taking the first step right now, like why haven't you? You know, I mean, the first step's the hardest part, but, you know, I think you and I both have heard, you know, from the PSP crowd 1,000 times, like, you know, the first step is the hardest step, and like, just do it. Like, stop talking about it, stop planning for it. It's like, you know, when people have the meeting to prepare for the meeting. You know, like, it's like, do it. Just go for it. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, if you have this goal or this dream or, you know, a side business you've always wanted to start, or a career change, or, you know, something like through hiking a trail, you know, like, stop thinking about it and putting it on the back burner, because it's never going to just come to you. I mean, very rarely I think that happens on a silver platter. And like, here, have me. You know, it's like, you have to go get it, and you have to put effort into it to have the things that you want. So it's like, stop wasting time and do it, because people are like, oh, I'm too old now, I'm 50. Well, what about when you're 60? Are you going to say, wow, I wish I started that 10 years ago? Yeah, probably. So quit wasting time and just go for it.
Right. I think a lot of folks, or at least, you know, I can speak for myself, you know, we get into this analysis paralysis, or we want things to be perfect. But I mean, that's a great reminder to just pull the trigger, just do it. Like, you know, I earlier today I did a little, you know, short little like 2-minute YouTube clip, and I remember before I actually shot the clip, I was thinking, oh, I need to think about what I'm going to say, and I need to get the right shot. And I started to feel that like I'm never going to get it done because I got to have it perfect. And I was like, you know what? Screw that. Just do it. Just, you know, if it's not perfect, who cares? Just shoot the damn thing. So, you know.
It's like the practice makes perfect. You know, you just go for it. You try it. And you know what? Next time it'll be a little bit better. And the next time a little bit better, you know. And like, for example, my book on preparing to hike the Appalachian Trail, like I learned a lot through that experience that when I do one now for the PCT, it's going to go a lot smoother, and we'll probably have improvements, because, you know, you just got to go for it. You know, how else are you going to do it but to do it? So,
well, what inspired you to write the book about hiking the Appalachian Trail?
Well, so whenever I was preparing for the AT, I just had a hard time. You know, I kept picking little bits of information from all sorts of sources, and I just was like, man, you know, I'm having to dig around for this and dig around for that, and there's some things that maybe if I wasn't such a beginner would be something I would already know, you know, but I had a lot of people also when I got done emailing me questions, and I was like, wow, these are things that I also didn't know before I started. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should, instead of complaining about how hard it is to research, you know, and find this information, maybe I should do something about it, you know, and create a solution. So I did, and, you know, I just covered mainly all of the basics for preparing to do something, specifically tailored towards the Appalachian Trail in that ebook. But so, you know, I just wanted to help people see, like, it's not as difficult as you might think it is. Like, just, you know, here's the basic stuff and go for it, you know. So and I tried to provide all of the things that I was like, so what kind of stove do I like? How do I eat? Where do I eat? You know, where do you go to the bathroom, or where, you know? I mean, I kind of had a pretty good idea about that, but you know, it's just like some people really ask that question, you know, and that's fine, you know. So you go in the woods, so that's what you do. But or hygiene, you know, like, well, where do you bathe, or do you, or you know, all of those questions are normal questions, and you know, you feel silly googling it. So, so I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna put all of this in one spot, and then also some, you know, gear information and things like that, even for people who have experience backpacking, but maybe not through hiking. You know? So try to make something that would help somebody who's planning that out, regardless of experience level.
So the long range or section hiker, specifically geared to the Appalachian Trail, can the weekend hiker or the day hiker draw pearls, useful info from the book?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because whether you're planning on a week-long outing or a month or 6 months, you're pretty much going to have the same gear, and pretty much, many of the same questions, So certainly, yeah, I think anybody who's planning on spending the night out in the woods, and even the ones who are day hiking and just like, I'm flirting with this idea of a weekend trip, but I don't know, even them. So,
well, one thing that comes to mind that I think maybe the weekend hikers or day hikers that probably don't have their trail legs is I don't want to say emphasis, but the thing that really stood out listening to you describe the journey was you're counting ounces. So I imagine, from the book, the things that you discuss, the recommendations and whatnot, and also from your YouTube content, that people can find the lighter weight gear and the lighter weight tools and whatnot for their weekend hikes or their day hikes or whatever. Because you have a big emphasis on finding the lightweight, durable gear that's going to last a long time.
Right. Yeah. So I've got a website. It's homemadewanderlust.com, and I have my gear for the Appalachian Trail, like I listed it there, and then I definitely lightened up for the PCT, but even for the AT, I would say I got about mid-grade gear, not like the cheapest and not the most expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I was just getting into it. And so, but certainly you pay attention to weight, and, I found ways to kind of cut corners and not spend too much money. But with the PCT, once I gained some confidence, so one example, like my tent. So on the AT, I had a wonderful tent, a 2-person backpacking tent, Big Agnes, like crazy well too, in case anyone cares. But anyway, and then it's pretty much it pretty much stands on its own. You do have to take out like the rain fly, but I wanted something that I'm like, this will work. I will feel comfortable with my home because nothing else was comfortable about it. Right? It was my first go, so I wanted something that felt safe, and that was my shelter. And I knew that there were backpacking tents that you could set up using like trekking poles, and I was just like, nope, I don't want anything that requires any amount of skill to set up, because I'm freaking out about everything right now. But now that I'm like comfortable with the idea of backpacking, I'm like, I think I'll try to shave even more weight off, and I'll go with one of those tarp tents that you have to use trekking poles to set up, So I've kind of gone to that. So, and I think people will find that information helpful either way, So if they're in the boat that I was just beginning, or like, I've got some skill, how can I upgrade and shave more weight? You know what I mean? So.
Wow, shaving off ounces, it blows my mind. so you're not.
Yeah, I mean, my sleeping pad was like 12 ounces on the AT, and I shaved off 8 ounces. And now I don't sit on it completely, but my upper body and my hips and everything, probably like knee down, doesn't fit anymore, but I just put my pack under my legs. So it's like things like that. But 4 ounces, when you, especially on the PCT, you have to carry more water in the desert. So, 1 liter of water is 2.2 pounds. So, I mean, if I can shave off 4 ounces, that kind of helps with water weight. I know it sounds ridiculous, but hey, ounces make pounds. So.
Well, it might sound ridiculous to a day hiker, but
yeah.
Do what?
Yeah, if you if people cut coupons for 15 to 50 cents, it's kind of the same thing, right? Cents make dollars, so
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same idea.
Well, I'm sure the long range stuff, that really, really makes a difference. We've covered some of the platforms that you share content on, and you put out a ton of content it's entertaining, it's inspiring. I mean, before we got on the call, or before we started recording, you told me some great stories of how, what you're doing is inspiring people. And also what you're putting out is also helpful for the wallet. So tell us the ways people can connect with you, follow your journey on this Triple Crown path.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I would say the first way, so my YouTube channel, I post a video at least once a week when I'm even, off trail. about information, just like, how do you get water? Like, how do you make water safe to drink while you're on trail? And just like different topics, and more information. But then while I'm on trail, for the Appalachian Trail, I documented that whole journey, and then now the Pacific Crest Trail, the same. So, people just want to see kind of what it's like to live out there, even if they don't know that they're necessarily interested in doing it, they might find that interesting. But so certainly on YouTube is one way, because after the PCT, there's one left until I'm a triple crowner of the backpacking world, and that's the Continental Divide Trail. So I'll be, if everything goes as planned, doing that one next year. But then also I'm on Instagram at it's Homemade Wanderlust altogether, and then Facebook I've got Homemade Wanderlust also. This space in between Homemade and Wanderlust on that one, and then my website, it kind of brings it all together, the blog, because I blog about the experiences. It's a little behind right now, the blog. I think I'm definitely still in California, but anyway, homemadewanderlust.com, and that's WANDERLUST.com. So, and I've got, like a link for the videos on there, and all that stuff. And then my ebook is also on there and on Amazon. So, and there will be one coming for the Pacific Crest Trail. And then also, I hope that I'll be able to sit down and actually write like the story. You know what I mean? Not just like how to prepare, but like, the actual my experience. So hopefully in between this trail and the next one, I'll have time to sit down and do some of that. So
awesome. We can't wait.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to spend some time indoors and and do some projects like that once I get up to Canada.
Back to your coffee and your raw milk in the morning. Awesome.
Yes.